me. So you started out in corporate America, and then from corporate America, you got into entrepreneurship. So in corporate America, what is it exactly that you did?
So in corporate America, I was, my first job out of college, I was worked for CPS as a child protective service specialist. And I worked that job. After that, I became a parole officer, then a specialized parole officer, and then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, and I became an agent investigator for the state. So I moved to California, and I lived in California for a year where I helped my uncle just kind of kickstart his business out there called Products Unlimited. Great experience. I came back home and I worked for MHMRA for a minute. I was doing employment marketing. I was an employment marketing specialist, and I was teaching life skills, employment skills, resume writing, interview skills, things like that. I then landed my job with as a gang intervention specialist, and that was under the mayor, then Mayor Lee Brown. And that was an interesting experience. I was working with gang members, I was working with parents, I was educating the school systems. I was actually even working with juvenile probation, some of the police departments, things like that. Yeah, just kind of educating them on gang knowledge, and while also trying to offer resources and be of assistance to gang members. So that was pretty interesting.
I can only imagine. So it seems like you've always been in the system, I said, so to speak, in a good way. Been in the system, helping the system, cultivating the system. Was there any reason why you started your path there? And how long were you, because that was a few different jobs. So how, like for length span, how long were you doing that?
So I graduated from college in 90. Oh, this is pretty easy because I graduated from college in 90, right? And I started my limousine company in 2000.
Okay.
So yeah, and yep, it was interesting and amazing to me that you mentioned systems, because systems to me is a very key word, and all of them are systems. And sometimes you don't really get to know or understand a system until you get in it, right? And so sometimes in some situations, I found myself to be a little uneasy because maybe what I thought or maybe my understanding of the mission versus what was really happening when I was in the system was a little disappointing.
Do you, like, what do you mean by that exactly? You don't have to go into detail, but just, you know.
Look, because I'm going to try to be nice to the systems, okay, right? So, I guess just more so, a parole officer's job is to help a person reintegrate back into society. As a gang intervention specialist, to assist a gang member with resources. As a CPS worker, to help a child who's in a situation where it's just not ideal and maybe violent, you know, or something very negative. I guess the frustration for me came about with the lack of resources that were actually available. So it had me going home in the evenings not feeling well or not feeling accomplished, you know, with what I thought my mission or my goal was. But my hands to some degree were tied because the resources weren't always necessarily readily available and there, right? So that just made it kind of uneasy for me, and I knew that, and that's probably one of the that is the reason why I moved around so much, because even though a lot of my jobs were within the state, I moved around a lot because I was like, I don't feel like I'm really doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And move over here. I don't think I'm really doing, you know. And then of course, God bless them because they're needed, right? But the caseloads are large, the resources are low, you know, just a lot, a lot, It
don't balance out at the end of the day.
It didn't seem to balance out for me, you know.